And one of the most ironic elements of today's coronavirus crisis is that Cuba is helping Europe. I mean, this is so shocking that you don't know how to describe it. That Germany can't help Greece, but Cuba can help European countries. If you stop to think about what that means of all our civil words fail, just as when you see thousands of people dying in the Mediterranean, fleeing from countries that Europe has devastated for centuries, and being sent to the deaths in the Mediterranean. You don't know what words to use. The crisis, the civilizational crisis of the West at this point is devastating to think about. And it does bring up childhood memories of listening to Hitler raving on the radio to raucous crowds adoring him at the Nuremberg rallies. You begin to wonder, is this species even viable? What's going to happen? In a civilized world, the rich countries would be giving assistance to those who are in need instead of strangling them, which is what we're doing, particularly in India, but in much of the world. But the crisis, whether the crisis can be within a country like India, I don't know. Bear in mind that with current tendencies, if they persist, South Asia is going to be unlivable in a few decades. The temperature reached 50 degrees C in Rajasthan this summer, and it's increasing. The water's running out. It could get even worse. There's 2 nuclear powers there who are going to be fighting over reduced water supplies. I mean, the coronavirus is very serious. We can't underestimate it, but we have to remember that it's a fraction, small fraction of major crises that are coming along. They may not disrupt life to the extent that the coronavirus does today, but they will disrupt life to the point of making the species unsurvivable, and not in the very distant future. So we have many problems to deal with. Immediate ones, coronavirus is serious, has to be dealt with, and much larger ones, vastly larger ones, are looming. And there is a civilizational crisis. We have to time one possibly good side of the coronavirus is it might bring people to think about what kind of a world do we want? Do we want the kind of a world that leads to this? And we should think about the origins of this crisis. Why is there a coronavirus crisis? It's a colossal market failure. It goes right back to the essence of markets, exacerbated by the savage neoliberal intensification of deep social economic problems. It was known for a long time that pandemics are very likely, and it was understood, very well understood, that they are likely to be coronavirus pandemic, slight modifications of the SARS epidemic 15 years ago. Time it was overcome. The viruses were identified, sequenced, vaccines were available. Labs around the world could be working right then on developing protection for potential coronavirus pandemics. Why did they do it? The market signals were wrong. The drug companies, we have handed over our fate to private tyrannies called corporations, which are unaccountable to the public, in this case, Big Pharma, and for them, making new body creams is more profitable than finding vaccine that will protect people from total destruction. It would have been possible for the government to step in. Going back to wartime mobilization, that's what happened. Polio at the time, I can remember very well, was a terrifying threat. It was ended by the discovery of the Salk vaccine by a government institution set up by the Roosevelt administration. No patents available to everyone. That could have been done this time, but the neoliberal plague has blocked that. We are living under an ideology for which economists have a good bit of responsibility, so it comes from the corporate sector, an ideology which is typified by Ronald Reagan reading the script handed to by his corporate masters with his sunny smile saying, government is the problem, let's get rid of government, which means let's hand over decisions to private tyrannies that are unaccountable to the public. On the other side of the Atlantic, Thatcher was instructing us that there is a society, just individuals thrown into the market to survive somehow. And furthermore, there is no alternative. The world has been suffering under this for years, and it's now at the point where things that could be done, like direct government intervention on the scope of the invention of the Salk vaccine, but that's blocked for ideological reasons coming out of the neoliberal plague.